Hi, my name's Nicole Burton, playwright and adoptee. My mother was 23 when I was born. My father was Jewish, she was not, and because of their time and place, he felt he couldn't marry her, and he abandoned both of us. Being working class and single, she was told that her life would be over if she didn't relinquish me to adoption, that she probably would never be able to marry, and because she was damaged goods, and that my life would be over too. But if she gave me away, I would get a proper family with a mother and a father and be taken care of, and she would be able to go on with her life, probably marry, have other children, and she would forget all about me. It would be as if this whole awful episode never happened. That's not true. When I found her at the age of 27, we discovered that both of us had thought about each other every day of my life. Adoption is traumatic and complicated, and it's no solution to the issue of abortion. Listen to the voices of adult adoptees.
So I have a genetic chronic illness, and as a result, I've probably thought more about the choice to have children than perhaps other people my age. And I am very grateful to be alive, of course, and I love my life. But I also am not sure I'd make that choice for my child, because it sort of seems like, why would I want to disadvantage them in that way, or just to bring more pain or suffering to my child? Like, I have nothing against adopting someone who already has a chronic condition. I'm not sure I want to be the one who gives it to my child. And then also, just as a teenager, I've thought a lot about sort of the small remarks that people make, like when people make rape jokes, or like grab you or things like that. And how, yes, they're sort of small in comparison to what could happen. But if you're someone who's experienced violence or sexual violence, like every time something small like that happens, or even, things in the news like Brett Kavanaugh hearings or Roe v. Wade being overturned, you're reminded of how little control women sometimes have over their bodies, and how little control they sometimes have over the aftermath of losing that control.
I've struggled to find where my story fits into the reproductive justice movement. Maybe that's because it's not my story to tell. It's my mother's story, and she is not here to tell it. I was conceived in rape, and I am pro-choice. It's a devastating reality that my life came at the expense of my mother's pain. The man who stole my mother's innocence and broke her ability to trust was 22 years old, and my mother only 14 when the abuse began. It was the beginning of prolonged torture. I was a new mother myself when I learned my mom had been raped by this man for years. I was devastated for her, and also relieved that I now could better understand why she showed up the way she did as a mom. I better understood why her mind and her body were so tortured. Who loves you when you're conceived in rape? Certainly not your unsolicited sperm donor. And the love from your mother, yes, it's love, because we understand the power of motherhood. Not even the love of a mother is strong enough and pure enough to overcome such darkness. Healing is real, but is there enough healing to help her make sense of the pain so her child doesn't feel it? So she doesn't feel that pain every time she looks into the face of her child and sees her rapist. I look at my own daughter and I wonder how my mom untangled the mess that was her journey to motherhood. How could she love me as much as mothers love their children and see her rapist in my eyes? How could she possibly make that make sense? I don't know what she would have done if she had all of her options available to her for this unconsenting, unexpected pregnancy. But I do believe she deserved to make that choice on her own with all of the information available to her. I believe she deserved access to resources to help her heal and live her life. I have dedicated my life's work to the reproductive justice movement. I do not want my mother's story, pain, or death to be an acceptable ending for any other woman.
My first pregnancy was when I was 22, not financially or emotionally ready to be a single mother. I made the choice to have an abortion. At 26 and in a committed relationship, I became pregnant. When I lost the support of my partner and my parents, I made the difficult choice to give the baby up for adoption. It was devastating, but I was grateful to have the choice. When I was 35, our beautiful, healthy baby girl was born. And then, after years of trying to conceive another child, I became pregnant at 48. Because of my age, the complications, including risking the life of the child as well as my own, were very great, and so we made the heartbreaking decision to terminate the pregnancy. Now I'm 70. I'm angry and frightened because my daughter may soon not have the choices that I have had.
In 1970, a 21-year-old indigent woman filed a class action lawsuit against DC General to perform abortions. That was me. I was 6 weeks pregnant and had an unintended and unwanted pregnancy. Abortion was legal in DC and private hospitals were performing abortions, but DC General was creating barriers that made it difficult for women in that area and poor women to get abortions. ACLU sought a pregnant person to file a class action lawsuit to force DC General to follow DC regulations. I went to the hospital and asked for an abortion and was turned down. I then testified to this in court, asked all kinds of personal questions about my lifestyle, my court contraceptive I used, whether I wanted a baby, why my parents weren't involved, and many other questions that were very intrusive. Out of necessity after that, I had an abortion at a private hospital. Even though I didn't get my abortion there, DC General quickly agreed to follow the same regulations as the private hospitals and make abortions legal for more women in DC and make it easier. Looking back, I realized how lucky I was. I was white. Medicaid covered my abortion. I had friends elsewhere who were getting illegal abortions, but I was able to get good medical care in my city. I had a community of women who supported me in my fight for this and my right to choose. I'm proud I was part of making abortions easier to get in DC. I never regretted my abortion, and I never regretted being a plaintiff in this lawsuit. I am so angry and so upset that we're traveling backward in time and that abortion could again become illegal in DC.
This poem is called The 45-Minute Countdown. I am raped repeatedly, stalked, raped, threatened, raped, intimidated, raped. What was his intention? To keep me, to imprison me, to impregnate me and own me. Sitting there in the waiting room, that 45-minute opportunity to review my life, God spoke to me and said, my family will hate me either way. And I judge you for being raped, for being to blame. That God. My head spins into an answer, the only one that seems reasonable, the only one that is in front of me. I will kill myself. The bridge on Hilliard Road, standing there. I will jump or I will take that car and I will go. Baby or no baby. Abortion or no abortion. Someone told me I was wrong. and I'm only 17. This will be the pardon for my sin of innocence taken. My pardon, albeit distorted.